Hey there, just a quick word before we start the show. This is the Game of the Year episode, the Games of the Year episode. We are going to talk about our Games of the Year, and we are going to talk about some plot points here and there. So just a heads up, if you're playing a game right now that you're really into, you don't want anything to get spoiled, you might want to wait on this one a little bit. Alrighty, let's go. Where is the play music button? Oh, here it is.
Yes, y'all. You know what it is. It's them kids and wives and 925s, but we are still married to the games. Episode 328. We can't stop and we won't stop. It is the day after Christmas, and we are still here giving you that sweet MTTG, baby.
Yeah,
That's right.
Right before the new year.
Yes.
Thank you guys so much for being here, and especially thank you to you guys for being here. And I mean the guys on this podcast. It's the day after Christmas. This is crazy. We've done some things to make this work every year, and it still baffles my mind that we're still here the week of Christmas.
I know, right?
I love it so much.
Dedication, my man.
Gotta do what you gotta do.
It's your boy Gabe Patillo with Tim Router, Ed Placencia, and Chris McCracken, of course. And as always, we are talking games and life and games. And this is the Game of the Year episode. And that's all we're talking this week.
Yeah.
Is Game of the Year. Our top 5 games of the year. You all's top 5 games of the year out there.
Use
in the
guys.
Marriage Games family. Use guys in the MTTG family. So the format's going to be a little different. We are going to do like our top 5. We're going to break it down. So we're going to do like our number 5, and then we're going to read some of you guys's. Our number 4, then read some of you guys's. Number 3, read some of you guys's, on and on until we crown our number 1. And we're also going to throw, for those that have it, Chris kind of threw a thing in there earlier this week. Speaking of honorable mention, so if we have an honorable mention, we'll get there before we get to number 1, and then we'll get up out of here, and you guys can go back to just sitting on the couch.
Sweet.
That sounded oddly accusatory. I don't know why.
Yeah.
I'm sorry.
So you guys can't just go loaf around on the couch all day.
You're gonna be late.
you
I'm recording a
deadbeat.
podcast at 6 in the morning, but whatever.
I feel like these next 5 days are made for sitting on the couch.
That's
Yes.
exactly
Yes,
right.
Yeah.
definitely.
And I know that some people have to still go to work. I have to go to work. I have to go to work tonight. And won't be back until, and, everybody starts playing that dad joke around this time of year. So I told Amara last night, I was like, the next time I see you when I leave tonight it's going to be next year.
Yep.
I won't see you again this year.
That's
I'll
so
see you
funny.
next year. And I won't see you till next year. Nope. You won't see me till next year. Okay. How many days is that? 5 days. So, Edward,
Yes, sir.
how was your Christmas, man?
It was good. It was good. We didn't have to worry about opening any presents because they were all opened.
That's right.
That's right.
But yeah, it was nice. Christmas Eve.
Stick it to the man.
Exactly. We went over to my cousins to celebrate Placencia Christmas with the family that's in the area or could make it to the area, and it was really nice. Had some relatives come in that can't come in every year, so it was nice to see them and hang out. And then on Christmas Day, we pretty much just kind of kicked back. Dad took Sarah and I to go see the new Holmes and Watson movie with Will
Oh,
Ferrell.
gosh.
my
How
gosh.
was that besides an absolute
Yes.
train wreck?
It was a lot of fun. I'm a huge Will Ferrell fan.
Me
and
too.
Nice.
It was a packed theater, which was nice.
Oh, good.
It's great seeing a comedy with a packed theater, and
Yes, it is.
so just lots of laughs. And then afterwards, went out to eat some Chinese food and just kind of relaxed. It was nice and chill, and and just a really nice Christmas.
Nice.
Yeah,
deal.
yeah. Can't complain at all. So played a little bit of games, and yeah, I don't know if you want like a full update, or if you want to just keep it pretty quick and get to the games of the our games of the year.
I mean, if you've got something of note, please share. Does your dad or anybody get you presents on Christmas, or do you absolutely open nothing on Christmas yourself?
Yeah, Dad had given us our presents last night at the when they dropped us off from the Christmas Eve thing. So we walked into the house and opened them, and today was just a do nothing day. So it was really nice. So yeah, just
that's great.
A lot of Red Dead, a lot of Beat Saber, some Overwatch, kind of the usual here. It was really
there
nice.
You go. Yes. There you go. I like it. Router.
Yeah, buddy.
What'd it do?
Piper's topic of the week is this girl got an iPod for Christmas. An iPod Touch. Now,
They
I've
still
said
make
this before.
those?
Exactly. Now, she has an iPad.
Exactly.
Let me preface this. She has an iPad, but she wants the portability of it a little bit more, I think, plus some of her friends
and feel like
have
it's a
iPod
phone.
Touches, so
yeah.
she got an iPod Touch, and she is just over the moon. Like
Are those the ones that look exactly like the phone?
Exactly.
Yeah, for the most part.
Like exactly like the phone. It's like a double-edged sword. I want her to be involved in technology. I want her to know the latest things and at least work her way around a phone, and she does that, and I love that. I want her to be kind of technology savvy, right? But then at the same time, it's just like, she's not doing any social media or anything like that. What she really wants to do is just text like us and her and the few friends that have an iPod Touch with her, and like her cousins and that kind of stuff. So we're getting into this like communication phase, and she's getting really good at texting and stuff. And she like every once in a while, just a little "I love you, Daddy" will pop up, and it's sweet and it's great. So we're just monitoring it. I will say Apple does have a great way of just making sure that kids, I think, are a little bit more protected, especially with downloading apps. She has to ask permission. I get a notification, and I can either choose to reject if she wants to buy something or not, and it works out really well. So
I download Resident Evil 2.
Exactly. Yes, you can, honey. Yes, you can. I'll allow it.
That's funny.
So it's been good though. We had a great Christmas. I couldn't wait to go to bed. We didn't get to bed until 4:00 in the morning, and then she decides to get up at 7. So Lauren and I both got 3 hours of sleep. And as soon as I woke up, I'm like, "Oh, Merry Christmas! Can I go back to bed now?" And,
I know that's right.
But it was a good time.
Is she the kind of kid that like just runs through them? Like she rips them open. She's like, "Oh, cool," and then she's on to the next present.
I think most kids are that way too, but like she'll stop, look at it. Sometimes, like depending on what it is, she
That's
may
a
even.
thing.
Yeah, she may.
I know, right?
Exactly. She may try and open up the box first, and I'm like, no, we'll do all that later because there's like 20 million pieces in that thing, so I'm not going to put that together.
Exactly.
So, but yeah,
because we ran into this thing this year where, and we knew this from last year, but like you, we weren't up too terribly late. It was probably like 1 or 2, but it was like they just run through them, and last year I remember us being like, all right, we got to slow this down. Like, let's enjoy each thing.
Exactly.
Because then it lasts longer.
Exactly.
And yeah, we failed at that. We were just too tired.
No, well, but that's the thing, man. Honestly, it's just a kid thing. It's the excitement of it. It's like, oh my gosh, I have all these things at my disposal right here. They're all wrapped. I just want to tear through them. And then afterwards, like then she would go and pick and choose and play some stuff and like look over other stuff. But as soon as she got that iPod, she just had such a smile on her face. So, it's great. I'm excited. A lot of people are like, oh, I don't know about an iPod. I'm like, no, trust me, I don't either. She's got an iPad.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Like when I went to the Apple store, I was like, we do have these iPads for the same price. I'm like, trust me, I know. This is killing me that I have to purchase this from you guys right now.
Right.
But it'll be good for her. And, it's a good precursor to the phone. And I'm not, at least she can communicate with me. And if we're not around for some reason, so like if she goes to a friend's house, she can do that kind of stuff. And so I like having that form of communication starting now that we can do that. So we'll see. But it was great. We Christmas Eve we went over to my brother-in-law's and had a wonderful pork dinner there, and then we exchanged some gifts there. And then Christmas Day they came up, and then just our friend our friend Heather and her 2 kids came over, and it was pretty low key. Like I said, it was just, man, it was exhausting though. I hadn't been that tired in a long time. So we all went to bed pretty early last night, which was great. But I will say it was definitely an Uncle Gabe White Russian Christmas, baby. That's all I can say.
Yes, that's what I'm talking about.
It was so, and dude, we were like, Lauren and I were like, man, we need to do, I don't know, when you guys came over, like that was our jam for like the next 2 years. We were like, oh man, those White Russians that Gabe made were so good. So I am carrying on the tradition, brother. It is now a router.
I love it.
It is now a router tradition that we stock up with White Russians. And I was getting everybody into it too, because Lauren had one, and then her mom had one, and then
Piper had one.
Right? And then I wish. And then
really well.
And then my sister-in-law had one. And so it was, man, it's so good and delicious, and it's just perfect. It's a perfect Christmas drink. So it was a very white Russian Christmas for us.
That's awesome.
Yeah, so this week our whole goal is to chill. Lauren, it was just run and gun up until, even a few days ago. And like this is our time just to be together. We're going to binge watch stuff on the couch. We're going to go watch some movies. And I'm going to play some video games when they're not looking. And it's going to be great. And
nice.
So I'm looking forward to it. And but yeah, it's been a good week so far, and now it's just veg out time.
There you go. Did you get anything of note?
I got a drone.
Oh, really? Something you can put in the tree as well.
Exactly. Yeah. My sweet nephew, we got him a drone for Christmas, and his is still stuck up in the tree, so he's going to work on it today. He's like, Uncle Tim, I'm so sorry. I'm like, dude. So Lauren got me. Lauren got me a drone like 2 years ago, and I'm like, it's the first thing that happened to me too. Don't worry about it. You got to get used to everything.
Yeah.
So I got a drone. I got a record player, which I haven't with a couple records, which is great.
Nice.
So I'm gonna put that in my office. And
I want to get one of those. I think I'm gonna get one of those.
You should, man. They're super cheap, and then Amazon. Like you could get anything and everything under the sun now with
that's right.
Like, records are still here, which I love. And so I got a couple records. I got Bruno Mars's record because
nice.
Yeah, so I got we'll be bumping 24 karat magic. And then I got the Guru's Jazzmatazz record, which is one of my favorites. And and she got, oh my gosh, she knows I'm a nerd. She got me the Star Wars soundtrack for The Last Jedi too on vinyl. So that was
nice.
Yeah, so that'll be fun. Yeah, it'll be really
that sounds
cool.
good.
Yeah, I'm sure it's going to be great. So, it was a good time. And I got mommy an iPad Pro because she wants to start working on like some design stuff, and we all have the old iPad Minis, and so I got her the Pro with the little stylus, so she can.
The Pro is dope.
It is, dude.
Oh my gosh,
sick. It is really, really sick. So that was mommy's big present, and well deserved for her because she worked her tail off. So
there you go.
Yeah, so it was just great all around. Merry Christmas to everybody. I hope everybody had a great day. And and I'm out. I'm back to bed. Bye.
Yeah, that's exactly right. Christopher,
man, it's been like nonstop Christmas for the last 4 days over here. So on Saturday, we went to my extended family Christmas. So like grandparents, aunts, uncles, cousins, and all that. Met up with them, spent a few hours over there, had some lunch, and just lots of fellowship and hanging out. A few white elephant gifts. Like none of it's really been gift heavy. But that part we just, mostly about seeing family and spending time together. And then on Sunday, it was kind of the same thing, except it was my immediate family. So we went over to my mom's house with my stepdad and my siblings and our nieces and nephews and everything. Same thing, just hung out for a while. We played some Drawful. My sister wanted to play it, and she's like, "Did you bring your PS4?" I was like, "No, I didn't bring my PS4. You have a PS4." She's like, "Well, I want to play that Drawful game." I was like, "It's on sale right now. Go buy it." So she downloaded it real quick, and we ended up playing that.
Oh, nice.
Oh, great.
So, yeah, I mean, it's normally, because Drawful 2 has been around for a while, so it's only like $10, but it was on sale for $5, and so she was over the moon.
Oh, sweet.
It was so much cheaper. So we got that, played that, again, hung out a lot, did the little small white elephant type stuff, but it was all really good. And then yesterday we drove up to Oklahoma, and we did Christmas over here, and that was probably the most gift-heavy one. Our nieces were over here, and they were going to be with their mother on Christmas Day, so we did basically our Christmas on Christmas Eve. So spent some good time with them before they had to head out and go over to their mom's for the evening, and then went to bed kind of early, and then got up on yesterday, which was actual Christmas, and went down south a little bit back to Texas to go to her grandmother's house, and her aunts and cousins and everything came in over there. Not all of them, because she has a lot, but a good decent amount of them came over there. And spent a bunch of time over there. So it's been like every single day is just like Christmas again. This is going to be the first day where it's like, it's not Christmas. It's going to feel kind of weird.
Yeah.
But at the same time, we're still off. We're not having to work. We're going to go visit some friends of Stacy's, friends of ours, I guess. They were friends of hers first, and then I married into the friendship.
Hey, there you go.
That we haven't seen in a really, really long time. So it's going to be a lot of fun hanging out with them for today. And then Thursday will be our last day here in Oklahoma. I don't know what the plan is just yet. There's some talk we may go do like some ice skating somewhere, which means we're going to have to head to Oklahoma City to do that because they don't have that here. At least I know that's on the table. Whether or not that's what we're going to do, I'm not sure. It's kind of all up in the air. I'm just kind of, you tell me where to go, and that's where I point the car and I drive us. So you just let me know what's going on. As far as Stacy and I, we have not opened the few small things that we got for each other. Stacy is the opposite of Ed and Sarah, where she's like, because I kept saying, I was like, hey, we're going to be on the road all this time. When do you want to open the stuff we got each other? When you want to? And all we did was like stockings. We didn't do a bunch of big things or anything like that.
Right.
And I said, do you want to do it Saturday? Do you want to do it Sunday before we leave? Or do you want to do it on Monday before we head out to up there? And she's kind of hemming and hawing, and then finally she just says, or we could do it when we get back. It's like, but when we get back, it's gonna be like way past Christmas. She's like, I just don't like opening things before. And it's not like I didn't already know that about her, because I'm always this way. Whenever I would get her like a present, let's say for her birthday, and I knew that she was gonna be maybe out of town for work on her birthday or whatever, I would always be like, oh, let's open it now. Here, open this. I'm always the excited one that wants to see the person open the gift that I got them or whatever. And she's always like that. I don't want to do it before the day of. If anything, I want to do it way past the day of if I have to. So we're sticking with that, and we're going to open all that stuff on Friday or late Thursday night whenever we get home.
Oh, nice.
So looking forward to that, to have one last little Christmas hoorah before it all wraps up.
That's great.
And then outside of that, other than the little bit of Drawful, I haven't been playing anything since we've been on the road. And then going to be on the road again. So a little bit of gaming here on my phone, and occasionally Stacy's been playing the mess out of some, it's not traditional Candy Crush, it's some other version, or I don't even know if maybe it's not actually Candy Crush, maybe it's a knockoff brand, I don't know, but she's been
Candy
stuck on that
Crash.
game. Yeah, maybe something, I don't know. She's just over there clicking these things and stuff's exploding, and it's like, I'm like, all right, looks like Candy Crush to me. So
Tasty.
yeah. But that's pretty much it over here. It's just been going and going.
Nice, man.
Mr. Patillo, how was your birthday, sir?
Oh, it was good.
Happy birthday, man.
Happy birthday.
Thanks. Yeah, it was a good one. We tried to get somebody to watch the kids. I think my mom watched them one night. Jenny's mom watched them one night. And it was just kind of to get out. One was to celebrate my birthday. One was to do some last minute Christmas shopping and things like that. So got some good time to connect before everything got too crazy.
Right.
Following my birthday. And so, yeah, it was a good time, man. Jenny Lynn, the wifey, splurged on your boy and got him that old PSVR.
Yeah,
she did.
Doggone it.
Dude.
At my elbows and wrists and biceps.
You getting
and
a workout
shoulders
right
are
now?
sore.
Yeah,
Oh,
man.
man, from that doggone Beat Saber, been playing that like crazy. Jenny's been playing it like crazy.
I knew
yes.
she would. I knew she would.
And what I didn't realize about PSVR, and I guess I should have because it makes perfect sense, but
Yeah.
the fact that like you don't need the TV to play it.
No.
Yeah.
So, like I'm watching Trevor Noah's Afraid of the Dark stand-up special last night, and she's playing Beat Saber.
Oh,
that's
nice.
amazing.
That's awesome.
So, I just got to sit on the part of the couch where she's not totally blocking the television. But
Right.
other than that, man, you just throw that thing on. So can you just play that? Can you play any game in VR? There's just not in VR. Is it like watching
Yeah.
a movie screen?
So they have.
So you don't really need a television for any of it?
Yeah, so they have it's like called theater mode or whatever, and there you can get in the settings and you can adjust it to where it's a smaller screen or it's like really massive. I like it. I think I put mine on the medium size. Yeah, I like looking around and seeing the screen.
Someone's in Oklahoma.
Exactly.
Yeah.
I don't like the smallest setting because then the screen moves with your head. I like to actually look around it as though it is a big screen.
Okay.
Yeah, I think by default it's on the medium setting, but you can adjust it.
Okay. Yeah, so that's been a great time. And so that was kind of like my birthday / Christmas present from her. And
Nice.
And then the gift cards, baby. Love gift cards. And I got from the family, Jenny's sister, on her gift card that she wrote me. It was like, to Gabe from Jess, message, thank you for making this easy.
Yay.
I was
Nice.
like, yeah, no problem. As she hands it to me, she was like, you're the only one that's easy to shop for Christmas. I was like, all right. I was like, I'll take it.
I'll take it.
Yeah.
Definitely.
So that was good. I have to say thank you to you guys. You guys got me such sweet gifts for
Yeah, thanks to you guys
for
as well.
Christmas. That was awesome. So I was Tim walked in while I was playing Beat Saber.
it's so funny.
Actually,
Nice.
I had Amara get the door. I was like, I heard Sadie kind of start running around. I was like, who is it, Boots? Who is it? She was like, it's Piper's daddy.
I know. I wasn't supposed to. I was just gonna drop it off because I knew you were running around. I'm like, and when I shut my car and it stays on, it does like a 2-horn beep, just to like, hey, your keys are still in the car. And I'm like, ah, dang it. And normally, if you just keep it open a crack, it doesn't do that. And then I saw Sadie start barking, and then next thing I know, I see Amar. I'm like, well, I'm just gonna go in and say hi.
Exactly.
Did you play Beat Saber then, Tim?
No, I had to.
No,
I
he
had to
was
run.
in and out so fast.
I ran in.
You can tell. You
gave
can
him
tell he didn't.
Gave him a
wasn't trying to come
gave him
in.
a sweaty hug, and then the boy was like, "Hey, buddy, how you
Yeah,
doing?"
exactly. I didn't want to stop because I started on normal because I
Right.
want
You gotta work your way up, man.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
So I was working on Ed's. The scores Ed is left alone in normal. And I was
that's
like,
amazing.
okay, I could probably beat these because he's not updating them every 3 hours.
Right.
So I was using those as my bar of, okay, you did good or bad on this song.
It was good to see the kids though. Little Remy came up
Yeah.
and he was like, "Merry Christmas," and I gave him a big hug. And
That's right.
He doesn't know me very well, but I'm like, "Dude, you're awesome. I love you."
Yeah, he came over
Like
and, like,
good
just
children. And there's this
lean-
Milo sitting there smiling away. So cute. I love it. It was good to see Amara.
So,
too.
yeah,
Piper says
man.
hi, by the way.
Yeah, that's awesome. It was good. It was such a pleasant surprise having you stop by. So that
Nice,
was
man.
great. And then, yeah, man, Christmas happened. And Christmas, when you're a parent to any children, it's just a stressful time a little bit. You know,
Right.
it's just like you want to get the right things. You want them to love them. You want to take back the things that don't, they weren't drawn to.
Yeah.
Immediately.
Yeah, I want to waste money on that. So,
Right.
we're going to be doing a little bit of that today with some things that came from outside our house.
Yeah,
Yeah.
there you go.
Yeah, we live with them, so we know usually what's going to work. But
Yeah.
Right.
sometimes, everybody else got to guess. Like, what does a 3-year-old play with? You know what I mean? The answer would be the Nintendo Switch for
Yes, it
Remy.
would.
Yeah, that joke loves that thing. Golly. So, yeah, it was a good time. Good time getting together. Same as Chris a little bit. Went and did Christmas with Jenny's side of the family, her dad's side of the family. And then everybody came to our house. My mom and Jenny's sister spent the night
Oh, nice.
so they could see the kids, first thing in the morning. And then my brother made his way over and Jenny's mom came over. So we had a full house. Everybody played Beat Saber.
Nice.
So that
that's
was really
great.
fun. And there was definitely a generational line in the sand.
Yeah.
When it came to that game. My mom, about 3/4 of the way through it, goes, "Can I be done now?" I was like, yeah. I was like, but the song's almost over. And she was like, okay. And so she ended up the song.
Oh, that's
Here's the
funny.
problem with Beat Saber, I feel like. Unless you like get in there and really click around, there's not a super easy way to play that game that I've found. But I'm also like have dove right into online and seeing everybody score and then doing the party thing. So like I didn't do the tutorial. So I didn't really know what, and I don't know the songs well enough to know what to let people play. Like, oh, this is a good entry point. So everybody is just playing the first song, which is called like Pop Stars or something like that.
Oh, yeah.
And even on easy, that game is fairly daunting for somebody who doesn't play video games at all.
It is, and that's
Yeah.
one of the newer songs they added. So actually,
okay.
$100 Bills was the first one, and they've
Yeah.
added 2 since, and they're on
That
top
makes
now.
Yeah.
a lot of sense because
Yeah.
$100 bills is way easier.
Yep.
But everybody had been playing the other one, so I was like, well, let me have them. Everybody just continue playing that one because at least you've heard the song over and over and over
Yeah.
again,
Right.
And have heard the rhythm. So, but it was fun, and big ups to Beat Saber because it is semi-easy. It seems like by the time the second chorus comes around, you know what's going on.
Yeah.
When you're just watching it, they kept asking like, what button do I have to press? And I was like, no, you don't have to press any buttons. Just swipe, And I had like the no fail on and the no objects on, especially for my mom and Jenny's mom.
Yeah.
And so everybody was very curious about it, and so it was cool to see everybody enjoying it.
My favorite part is when they see the obstacles, the walls, and they say, what do I do with the wall? And it's like, don't hit it.
Don't let it smash into your head.
Exactly. And then it's fun. Like I turned the obstacles back on for the younger people, and it was fun like hearing them giggle and jump out of the way. Like, oh, it almost got me.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like it was going to do something in real life.
Right.
A couple people almost fell over, so that was fun.
Nice.
I did download Rush of Blood to have my brother play it.
Oh, nice.
I just couldn't bring myself to do it. I know. Well, me and him ended up, he was like, we were putting together like this racetrack for Remy and Milo. And he was like, I mean, when we going to go out and play that Black Ops? And I was like, okay. So we ended up coming out to the shed and doing duos on Blackout on Blops 4. So that was a good time.
Nice, man.
So real quick, just we don't have to dwell on this a ton, but so you finally bought a PSVR, and like I feel like the whole time it's been like you're just like, So now that you have it, and granted, I know you've only dabbled with Beat Saber, and that's a bit different, but just overall the experience, and I know you tried it before. It's not like it's totally brand new to you, but I mean, like, what are your thoughts overall?
So what's interesting is that with PSVR, I don't think when I tried it, I don't remember actually exactly, but I think I've still had only done the controller.
Yes.
And
really?
the VR instead of the Move controllers.
Yes.
And this is a high bar that you enter at when you're at Beat Saber because, like you guys have mentioned before, how 1-to-1 it is and how 1-to-1 it feels.
Yes.
Is like amazing.
Yeah.
I don't know if I'll be drawn into games as much where you use a controller.
Yeah.
So I think going forward, I will hesitantly go into new games. Like I'll hear you guys talk about it probably and be like, okay, I'll try that one. I'll probably be more pick and choose.
Yeah.
When it comes to that. So
it's definitely not the end all for you, right? It's like you're gonna. There's gonna be some games.
Well, yeah, exactly. And what's hard with Beat Saber is like that is so fun.
Yes.
And so matching that, I don't know if that will happen.
Yeah. That's
again.
fair.
And I don't know how much they're gonna pour into PSVR. I don't know if it's gonna be compatible and just kind of roll over to the PS5, or if they're gonna keep this thing rolling as they're gearing up for PS5. And I just don't know how much attention they'll give it. And I'm not saying Beat Saber is the peak and then everything's downhill from here, but it feels like for that to be the first game you play on it, like I didn't even bother downloading Borderlands 2, which came in the bundle. Because of how the amazing review that Ed gave it last week.
Man.
Yeah, exactly. I do think that the majority of the games that feel the best, or maybe that's not a fair way to put it, but the games that seem to be the most fun are the ones where you're utilizing Move, because that means you usually have two hands doing two separate things. But I would say don't sleep on, if you decide to start dabbling around, especially as a lot of these games that have been around for a while get cheaper and cheaper. Don't sleep on games where it's like your third person, like your point of view is like you're the camera, let's say, and there's stuff going on around you. So it's not really like you're moving around in the world so much other than leaning around and looking around obstacles and whatnot. I wouldn't sleep on those because for me, honestly, those have been some of the most fun experiences outside of like your awesome things like Beat Saber and whatnot. So
There you go. I like it. Yeah, so I'm excited to try some more stuff and see how it goes. And, really glad to have it. I think I don't know if I would have bought it for myself. But I think as the sale that they had going on last week, and maybe is still continuing, it seemed like a good price point. If it would have, I don't remember what price point it came out at, but I feel like at the 200, I think it was 250 or something like that Jenny got it for. And coming with two games and the Move controller and the camera seemed like a good That seemed like a good price. It seems like it doesn't seem like the right price, but it seems like a good price. The right price is probably still $50 more than that, or maybe $75 more than that, especially coming with the games and the controllers. But $250 seems like, man, with 2 games and one of them being Beat Saber, which is amazing.
Yeah.
I didn't feel like, oh no, she spent too much money. You know what I mean?
Right.
Nice.
Right.
So,
Good.
Cool, man.
Yeah, doggy. Well, Router, do you have anything?
I don't. Not at all.
Nice.
Not a
we
single
about
thing.
to crank up this this game of the year talk. So let's do it. All right. Well, we are talking games of the year,
Yes.
which is so much fun. We had a great year of gaming, as the Game Awards showed us, and kind of like the Gamers' Choice Awards showed us. I'm glad we have both of those.
Yeah.
And so let's start at number 5, man. Number 5, Ed, I know you did a top 10.
I did, yes. And
Can you
even
run us
that was
quick-
hard.
Yeah, right. I am like, I'm not even sure my top 5 is my top 5.
Yeah.
If I was being completely honest, like
Right.
my number 1, my memory is really bad.
Yeah. Right.
And then number 2, I'm kind of like, dance with who you're dancing with right now.
Yeah.
Who brought you to this party.
Yes.
And so it's hard for me to always remember, but I do have some honorable mentions. I have a top 5. Ed, can you quickly, and I don't know if Chris did this, but can you quickly run us through 10 through 6?
Yeah, I had number 10, The Walking Dead, the final season, the first 2
Oh,
episodes.
really?
Yes.
Oh, nice.
Okay.
Yeah. Number 9.
I saw you put it on Twitter, and I just tried not to look at it.
Number 9 was Moss, the VR game.
Oh,
very cool.
yeah.
Number 8 was Forza Horizon 4.
Okay.
Number 7 was Dead Cells, and number 6, Jackbox Party Pack 5.
Absolutely.
Oh, Jackbox fell outside the top 5. Huh? There you
So
go.
how do you want to
There
handle
you go.
the honorable mention thing? Do you want to wait till we get all the way through and then mention it?
yeah.
Or-
Yeah,
Let's go
no,
all the way through.
I say we get to number 2, and then after number 2, before number 1, we'll do honorable mentions
Okay.
Nice.
to break it up. So, Chris, did you do a top 10 or did you just do a top 5?
I only wrote it out as a top 5.
And then honorable mentions.
I wrote out all the games I played this year, but I only really organized the top 5 with my honorable mention basically being number 6.
There you go. There you go. Okay. Well, let's start at number 5. Tim Router,
Sir,
what's your number 5 game of the year?
Overwatch.
Ooh, that's right. You
nice.
started playing that
Because
this year.
I started playing late, but and these are all the games that we've played, right? This we don't have to.
Yeah,
go
yeah,
into,
this year.
Yeah, I mean,
That's right,
this
yep.
year, it's probably a toss up between Overwatch and Clash Royale because I play Clash Royale every day.
Yeah, I know that's right. Yeah.
It's a part of me. Like I wake up and I check my chests and see how our clan's doing. Like it's just a part of me. But man,
That's funny.
this Overwatch thing, I'm just super impressed with. I think this game has had amazing longevity considering this is going on into its 3rd year.
That's right.
And the fact that a lot of people are still playing it, that there's they're still rolling out new heroes. The content that they provide their fans, I think, it's just top notch. Everything is so well polished, and
That's right.
I'm sad that I snoozed on it for so long, but I'm happy that I'm involved now.
Yes.
But it's a great little pick me up game. I love playing with our community. And
Yep.
so that definitely deserves the top 5, even if it's a 2-year-old game. So I'm all in with Overwatch. I think it's great.
There
Nice.
you go.
Good
Yeah.
deal.
Edward.
It was so tough for me to narrow
man.
it down.
Yes, I'm
bet,
so
man.
with you.
And so it's gonna kill some people. It kills me to say it. But number 5, I have God of War.
Wow.
Yes.
There you go.
Okay.
There you go. I love that. I love that. And
Don't feel bad, man. You
we
do
will
you.
find out why soon. Exactly. This was tough for me too, man. I was going back and forth, just jumping around. And I was like in my bed last night because I kind of had like in my head what my top 5 were.
Right.
And then when I really sat down, put pen to paper, I was like, oh no, it might not be. And so, I alluded to Chris this, man. My number 5 slid in there at the last minute.
Ooh.
That doggone Beat Saber.
Oh, nice.
Man,
Wow.
I am loving it. The way it's attached itself to me, the way it's attached itself to Jenny. Amara is killing it. I don't have to use any modifiers with her on
Nice. That's awesome.
You know, on the side of not failing and stuff like that. And she beats games.
Right.
Jenny's had her step up because, you know, Daddy has to stir the pot to make sure everybody keeps playing. And so, you know, I say to Amara, you do so good. I think you could beat Mommy in some of these normal games.
Jenny drops everything. He's like, give me those things. Let's go.
Exactly.
Awesome.
Jenny's like, I don't think so. And I'm like, I don't know. She's like, Daddy's just trying to work me up. I was like, I'm just saying.
Oh,
Right.
that's
Amara's
amazing.
killing it. And so for the 3 of us to be playing it and playing
That's
it,
awesome.
you know,
I'm so glad.
Not well,
Yeah.
but, you know, playing it good
Right.
and not failing. And the fact that Jenny at midnight was like, I kind of want to play some Beat Saber.
There we
Or I
go.
think she called it like that music game, I think is what
That
she called it.
music
Nice.
slicey game.
Exactly.
So happy.
And she was singing freaking Pop Stars all day.
Yeah.
And she was like, I can't get that song
I
out of my
know.
head. And so
That's great.
yeah. And so, man, my number 5 is Beat Saber. Chris
I'm just
McCracken.
going to keep the train rolling. My number 5 is Beat Saber as well.
Is it?
Nice.
Yeah. So for me,
Yes.
like, I think it's my favorite VR game of all the ones that I've played. And
Yes.
so here's the thing with
Nice.
me. Like, I have always been like a rhythm game, like on the fence kind of guy. I've never owned any rhythm game. I've always played them. Like, you go to a friend's house and it's like you play for a couple of hours, like, oh my gosh, that was fun. And then I feel like I've had my fill for like 6 months until I go back over
Yeah.
there and play
Yeah.
again. And I mean, I've always understood the appeal. I've always understood why people really dig them, but I'm not particularly good at them. I'm good enough that I can do the games, but I'm not going to do the harder levels. And they just never was like, I don't want to buy all the stuff to play this. I'll just dabble here and there. This was the
Yeah.
first one. I mean, first off, you put sabers in something, you're gonna have my attention. And then you
Right.
say like, okay, and it's a rhythm game. I'm like, all right, well, let's look at this. And so I was counting the days. I was like, this has got to come to PSVR when I was seeing all the stuff about it. And when it did, I knew right away I'm buying this game. And to be
Yep.
as pleasantly surprised with it as or I guess as it being exactly what I wanted it to be. Like, all of the songs are good. There's not a single song on there that's bad. There's definitely some that I'm like, okay, these are the ones I'll play a little bit less. But
Exactly.
I mean, there's not a song on there that I would say like, this one's bad. I like every single
Right.
one of them on. The fact that they added, at least up to this point on the PSVR side, 2 songs for free. And then they've said there's going to be more. And I have no problem paying for like song packs as they come.
Nope,
When that
not a
comes
bit.
about, I have no problem doing that because the level of the song, the quality of the songs that have been coming through have been great. The fact that they got the Pop Star song and like worked for that, because that's an amazing song, and it's popular without gaming because it's from League of Legends.
Right.
I just love that how much they're putting into it. I love that they're focused, not only focusing, but they're also making sure the PSVR is supported the way that it is. It's not just like this side thing that they're like trying to get a few extra bucks from. They're actually supporting it just as well as they are their other ones. I love this game, and I play it. I don't play it every single day, but I do play it a lot, and I love. Part of my fact that I really love it is that Stacy loves it just as much as I do. She's
what I'm
really
saying.
good
Yeah.
at. Yeah, and I mean, when I saw Gabe jump in, I was super happy and super excited on the one hand, but on the other hand, I was like, I don't need to chase any more of these scores because there's no way. There's just I'll let Stacy do all the score chasing. I'm just gonna have fun slicing the bricks because I can at least get. I just want to get through. Like, I remember I messaged Ed and I was like, I cannot get to the end. I cannot see the finish line on Pop Stars on hard. And finally, I got it. Now, I missed a bunch of those,
Oh,
of those
nice.
boxes on the way there. I'm really surprised it didn't do the
Right.
insta fail. But
Yeah.
I made it to the end, and I felt so happy, even though my score was like 50,000 below everybody else. I was like, I didn't care. I made it, and it was so much fun getting
Yep.
there along the way. Just
Yep,
the patterns,
definitely.
the patterns, the way that the box come at you, you feel like such an awesome ninja when you're doing it. I love
You
it so
really
much.
do.
Oh my gosh,
They're so
That's what I was-
smooth.
That's what I was telling Jenny. I was like, when you're in there, you feel amazing.
Yes.
somebody watching from the outside, especially when it's not on the television, you just
Yeah.
look like a flailing idiot. But
Right.
it's just so
I mean,
amazing. So Ed, quick question: what modifiers do you play with?
I don't play
on.
with any right now just because when you're doing the leaderboards, if you do modifiers, it doesn't count the score.
Oh, interesting.
So it counts it for
positive
the,
or negative.
Yeah, it counts it for the local leaderboards, but not for the ones with your
Online.
friends.
Yeah.
Oh, interesting.
So-
Because just to challenge myself, I put it on InstaFail, and
Yes.
just because I don't want to like have to go back and I wanted to know, because I know that to beat you guys, I've got to play it like almost perfect. And so if I mess up, I want to just go ahead and end without me having to end it.
Right.
So that is good to know. So I need to take those off. Okay, gotcha.
Yeah. And at first we would play with them on, like make the song go really fast and stuff like that.
Yes.
Locally. But when I noticed that doesn't count for the online ones, then I stopped playing with them on.
There you go. Okay. I'm gonna stop playing with them on too.
Yeah, I
Shoot.
stopped too when Ed
Yeah.
let me in on that. I was like, doggone it, I've been doing all this for no reason.
I know, right?
I know, and I like to go in like, because I do better on a song, especially when I'm trying to go up against Ed and Hollywood Bones and Chules and these guys. I do better the very first time through.
Oh, really?
And so I'll put it on like the super fast, low battery, and so
Right.
which has you fail quicker. And I did not know that it didn't keep that score. That's good to know.
Yeah.
I definitely do
Yep.
better the longer I stick with a song. And so I usually will do the same song multiple times before I finally get to a score that I feel like I'm happy with, which is still way below everybody
Yes.
else, and then I'll move on.
That's okay.
It's all
Yeah.
good.
Yeah.
But I'm with you, Ed. I wish that they did bring the party ones over to the online ones.
Yeah.
Just because, like, it keeps me from playing the party one.
Exactly.
Which Jenny
Yeah.
wants to see my score because she wants to beat my score in
Right.
the party one. But I'm so interested in seeing where I stack up against you guys that it's hard to go back and do that.
Yeah.
Nice. Well, we got Mr. Pastor Pickled Ham over on the Discord. He says number 5, XCOM Enemy Unknown Vita Edition.
No.
Oh.
Number 4, Metal Gear Solid 5. Number 3, Broforce. Number
Oh, that's
2,
a fun one.
Number 2, Spider-Man. Number 1, God of War. He says the reinvention of what was an interesting but one-dimensional franchise to an epic, heartfelt father-son story, which could now lead into more games, eventually across multiple cultures and mythologies. Brilliant.
Yeah.
Nick Fallhaber, he didn't put I don't know what order these are in, but I'm guessing 5 to 1 maybe. Monster Hunter World. Oh, he says Monster Hunter World is my game of the year.
Oh, wow.
Runners up in no particular order are Celeste, Dead Cells, Into the Breach, and God of War. Favorite game I played this year that didn't come out in 2018 is Bloodborne.
Oh, nice.
Nathan Dugas, most of mine came out last year or earlier, but all of them were played mostly, if not fully, in 2018. For the first time, 5, Octopath Traveler. Nice. 4, Middle-earth Shadow of Mordor. 3, Horizon Zero Dawn. 2, Super Mario Odyssey. Number 1, Assassin's Creed. 4, Black Flag.
Oh, nice.
Nice.
Eric Thompson. Number 5, Celeste. Thanks again to Jeff Swan for turning me on to this absolute treasure. 4, Spider-Man, best GameFly rental ever. 3, Assassin's Creed Odyssey. With truest apologies to my lady Cassandra for getting totally sidelined by Red Dead 2 and Overwatch. I'll be back soon, dear. And we shall sail those Grecian seas again. Number 2, Red Dead Redemption 2. I mean, not done yet, but there's no question. And number 1, because he started playing it this year too, Overwatch. I never
look
would
at
have
that.
guessed I would fall for this game so much, least of all, find some level of skill in it.
Yeah.
I hold my R2 as good as the rest of them because he's a mercy main. But most importantly, it has brought me nearer to some fine brothers in the community, Patrick De La Bones, Bry Guy, John, and of course, that guy Lim.
Nice.
That's so great. Calm Fury, Tetris Effect, Fortnite Battle Royale, Spider-Man, Red Dead Redemption 2, God of War.
Very
Calm,
nice.
Calm Fury, Tetris Effect. We need to get that. I mentioned that to Jenny and what people are saying about that game. She was like, "Oh, I'll definitely play some Tetris." And I was
Yeah,
like,
it's
"All right."
nice.
Tetris Effect, Fortnite, number 4. Fortnite Battle Royale, 3 Spider-Man, 2 Red Dead Redemption 2, 1 God of War. We got Stumpwater Jack. Oh man, my list is going to be funky. So only one of them came out this year. 5 Idle Champions of the Forgotten Realms. 4 Spider-Man, 3 Darkest Dungeon, 2 The Banner Saga, number 1 Heroes of the Storm.
Oh, look at that.
Yeah, man. Yes. Oh gosh, I love these. It's just a trip down memory lane. All right, Tim Router. Number
sir.
4, lay it on me, brother. Number 4.
Number 4 for me is going to be South Park: The Fractured Butthole. I know it was delayed and
Ooh.
delayed all the time, but and here's the funny thing: I don't typically watch South Park episodically all the time, but I play their games just because they're hilarious. I do like how the controls work. I think they've definitely updated their. I did like the fighting and the combat mechanics. I think it was a little bit easier. And then the Stick of Truth. And I mean, it got super weird at the end, but it was so funny the whole time. Like, there were several times if you want a good, inappropriate, but laugh out loud game, it is hilarious. And there were several times where I was just like, "Ha, that's hilarious." And like, it's just, the writing's good. The story's it's South Park. I mean, you when you go into a South Park game, you're just gonna get all South Park all the time. So it's just one of those things. So but I really enjoyed that game. I put a lot of time into that game, and it was super fun.
Nice.
There you go. Edward.
My number 4 is Beat Saber.
Oh yeah, there it is.
Yeah, just to piggyback on you guys, it's just been, like you said, they've got, I think, 3 DLC packs that are going to come out with like 10 songs each for $10 a piece, and I will gladly pay another $30 and end up paying a full $60, a regular price for a game anymore.
Yes,
and for this game, it's just been so much fun, and I've yammered on about it for weeks now, and just to piggyback on what you guys said, man, it's just such a good time. And I just love when I look at the leaderboards and see another new friend on there. It's just like, oh, now Gabe's got it, now Flowing with Rain has it now. It's just been so cool to see people pop up on there, and looking forward to seeing more names on there. Such a good time.
Ed, are you like me? This is my first that I can remember leaderboard game. Like, I don't remember ever really caring about leaderboards before.
Yeah, I mean, they have them on Forza, but I never really cared.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. I've definitely, the leaderboard thing is definitely not new.
Yeah.
But for me, for some reason, this one I care about, and it's weird because it almost gives me the sense of playing with friends without actually playing with friends.
Yep.
Yeah, and I think it's also because this is the first leaderboard game that I feel like I can compete in.
Yes.
Nice.
That's a great point.
Because I'm only going to be so good at Forza, and I'm only going to be so good at Bit Runner. But I feel like with Beat Saber, I kind of have a chance.
Yeah.
There you go.
And just to piggyback on that, it's kind of the same for me, even though I can't beat them ever. This is the first game where every time I log in, I go and look at what are the scores right now.
Yep.
Every time.
Yes.
I've never done that. I don't do that with Runner either. I don't do that with any other game.
Yep.
It's the only one.
That's crazy. My number 4, and I forgot I even played it this year, but it was my first game that I beat towards my New Year's resolution this year.
Oh.
Super Mario Odyssey.
Oh, yeah.
Nice.
It's so well done. It's a great Mario game. I hadn't played so many iterations in between, and so I didn't kind of have the feels of Super Mario 64 and things like that other people had. I didn't have a 64. My brother did growing up, so I never played it. And it's just, there's a lot of depth there. There's a lot of skill needed to beat it. It's really fun. The story's stupid, but it's like, great. I was kind of deterred by the whole eyes on the hat thing, and I was
Yeah.
like, oh, and I got to control the hat and blah 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 blah. But like, it ends up becoming second nature, and
Nice.
just running around the worlds that they made. Man, I thought
Yeah.
Super Mario Odyssey was a great game. Yeah.
Good.
Chris McCracken, lay it on us.
So my number 4 is Far Cry 5.
Oh,
Nice.
Ooh, really?
Yeah, and I really enjoyed Far Cry 5. And it's a weird situation. So for me, the very first Assassin's Creed game I played was Black Flag. That's
Okay.
where I decided to jump in. And you definitely
That's a
have the
good
people
place.
who feel like 1 and 2 or Assassin's Creed 2 is the best one in the series or whatever. But I always felt like this is the perfect one for me to get started in, and ended up so far of all the ones I've played being one of my favorites. I feel like it's kind of a similar situation with Far Cry. I didn't play the other ones, and I know a lot of people really love 3, but I felt like this was the first one where all the story elements and the location, everything felt like, okay, I feel like this is an area where I'll enjoy it, and I jumped in and I just had a complete blast the
Nice,
entire
man.
time. I will say that I'm still a little torn on the way that the story ended, and I know it's going to kind of somewhat tie into the next franchise. So I think or the next version of the
Right,
franchise.
right.
So I know maybe there'll be more to kind of play out there, and then I'll see like, oh, as a whole package, when you look at all of it, it
Yeah.
makes more sense. But even with that little bit at the very end, just kind of being like, well, I'm not sure how I feel about the very end of the game. All the rest of it and the lead up to that, I greatly enjoyed.
Yeah.
Good.
I played
Nice.
the mess out of it. I loved the way that it handled. I platinumed the game.
Yeah.
It wasn't so much for the online stuff. I'm glad that there weren't like a ton of online trophies, and I only had to get a few of them. So I probably wouldn't dabble with online again if whatever the next Far Cry, I forget the name of it, is going to have that. I'll probably skip out on that part.
Right.
But I really enjoyed all of the open world stuff. I thought it was Montana, right?
Yes.
I thought that was a
Yes.
great setting.
Yep.
I loved driving around on 4-wheelers and wandering through and having the animal companions and all that kinds of stuff, and the other companions that you could have throughout the game and utilizing them. I thought it was an amazing game. I loved it.
Yeah. Nice. pick.
Good. Over on Discord, Jared Orr, 5 Celeste, 4 Spider-Man, 3 Red Dead Redemption 2, 2 Hollow Knight. He says, seriously, you guys need to play this. Number 1, God of War.
Nice.
Hollywood Bowl. 5 Beat Saber, which he is very good at, apparently.
Yes, he is.
I love seeing you and him work your way down like the world number. I think there was one song I did against you guys the other one, and like you guys are like 21 and 50 or something like that. I was like, holy crap, these guys are 21 and 50. I'm definitely not beating that score.
That's awesome.
4 Detroit Become Human.
Ooh, nice.
3 God of War. 2 Spider-Man. I don't know why I put this Spider-Man PS4.
That one.
The one on PlayStation 4.
Yeah.
And then number 1, Red Dead Redemption 2. Doggone it, that freaking game. Moving over to Facebook, Corey Drake, Spider-Man. Jason Lee Douglas, Red Dead Redemption 2. Cody Martinez, Assassin's Creed Odyssey.
Nice.
Jenna Kirby, Fortnite.
Nice.
What?
It's the only game she played.
Exactly.
It's her game of the year.
Sure.
Right, she
Go
gets
for
to
it.
play it with her son, so it's perfect.
Yeah. And she got that
Underscore.
W.
Yep, she did.
Brian Whetstone, I'll do his backwards. He did 10. 10 Rise of the Tomb Raider, 9 Uncharted Lost Legacy, 8 Sleeping Dogs. Woo.
Oh,
Wow.
Welcome to the
okay.
party. 7 Far Cry 5, 6 Onrush, December's PS Plus game. Play it, he says. 5 Persona 5,
Nice.
4 Spider-Man, 3 Overwatch, started playing on Memorial Day of this year. 2 God of War, 1 Red Dead Redemption 2.
Nice.
Gracious. He said I did not play Assassin's Creed Odyssey, Detroit, or Shadow of the Tomb Raider. However, they're Christmas gifts, so they may make next year's list.
Oh, there you go.
There you go.
Gotcha.
I like it. All right, this is where it starts getting rough. For some reason, 4 and 3 were rough to me. Tim Router, lay on us your number 3.
Number 3 will be Far Cry 5 for me.
There you go.
I'm with you, Chris. I loved the atmosphere. I loved Montana. It was great. One of the first things that happened to me was I jumped on an ATV and then got nailed by a buffalo out of nowhere. And I just
Like Chris getting hit by those deer.
Exactly.
Right?
I love just the randomness of it all. The characters were great. Your villains were fantastic. I really enjoyed them. I didn't mind the ending either because I'm like, oh, this is just great setup. So I'm very curious how this next one. I'm almost tempted to say that I think this new one that they're doing is gonna kind of bleed into from the ending of Far Cry 5. That's pretty much how I think it's going to happen. So they set it up great for a continuation of this. I played the mess out of it. I almost platinumed it, but I think the reason why it's down a little further because I hated doing the multiplayer stuff, and that's the trophies that I still need to get, and I never got to it, and I probably won't. And so I hate that when they only did very minor stuff in 4 when I platinumed that online stuff, and that was doable. But this, you had to put more effort into the arcade, and I just didn't get into that. So I think that might be why it's a little bit lower for me, but I played the mess out of that game. I couldn't wait to get up and see what adventure begins. And I didn't really use any of the trucks or the ATVs. I just walked around everywhere because you never
I'm
knew.
the same way with games like that sometimes.
Never know what you're going to run into. And, I got a lot of good hunting involved and then came across whatever. And it turned out to be a side quest that I had already completed and didn't know. And it was
that happened to me a lot.
Yeah, it was fantastic. I just love that game. And I think the Far Cry series are my favorite first-person shooter games. I just love the way that it feels so good with the aim and shooting and everything. I just feel like it's super smooth. Now, I haven't played a ton of Call of Duty either, but to me, the Far Cries are kind of my Call of Duty when it comes to the standard for how the controls feel, how the gun mechanics and the aim mechanics work. It just feels really good for me. So I really enjoy it. And I'm looking forward to this next one. I'm definitely going to buy the next one as well. So
there you go.
Nice.
Edward.
Yes, sir.
Number 3.
Number 3 is Red Dead Redemption 2.
Nice.
I love that game, as you guys know, and it would have probably been higher if I didn't struggle with the controls for so long.
Yep.
They were just so wonky to get used to for me, and I actually at one point I thought I was done with the game. I thought I was over it, and it took watching my brother-in-law play it for a bit. He asked if he could start a new game, and I was like, yeah, you can start your save. And I loved watching him play. And it's funny, as I streamed the game, it was funny how many people had also started it and said, man, the more I watch you play it, the more I want to go back and play it again and restart it.
Oh, yeah, huh?
And once you get past that hump, for me at least, man, it was just all amazing
Blue skies from there, huh?
So, yeah. So definitely... great time with the old Red Dead.
There you go. My number 3 is also a latecomer this year. I gotta go with that doggone Smash Brothers Ultimate.
Oh, nice.
It is so much fun. I love Smash. I am not good at it at all.
No,
you're not?
No, I'm not good at fighting games.
Yeah.
But I just really enjoy it. I love opening up the new challengers approaching and getting to play against those characters to unlock them. They have a thing in this game which I didn't know. I don't know if it's in the other games or not, but you can go to one section called Games and More, and they have like a vault there. And so if you ever got beat by a challenger that approached, you can go replay them and gives you another opportunity to beat them a second time around. So for me, I didn't know that existed because when they beat you, you're like, oh, dang it. Well, now I have to just wait for them to randomly pop again.
Yeah.
And it takes that out of it. So that's
good.
That's really cool that it does that. And I'm glad it does that. Because
instant revenge.
Yeah, exactly.
Instant revenge. I like that.
And then if they beat you again, You just kind of have to wait, and then they'll repopulate in that vault. So,
Oh, nice.
Smash Brothers Ultimate. It gives me a little of the heebie-jeebies, like when I was watching Ed play that Lego Villains, where there's just like the board match where they're like, choose a board. It's like 50 boards, and you're like, oh my gosh, I can't. I just put it on random every single time. I don't even bother looking at it. And then the character select screen is going to end up like that too, because I think at the end of the day, before the DLCs, I think there's going to be 70-something characters that you can choose from.
No way.
Wow.
So it's deep. It's also easy to grasp. So and what I mean by that is there's not actually that many moves.
Right.
And so it feels like you can pick it up and you feel like you can master a character.
Yeah.
You can't, but it feels like it. You know what I mean?
Huh.
Like you're not going to be able to play for 3 months and then go enter a tournament unless you're just that savvy at fighting games.
Right.
But at least you feel like, okay, I can do all this character's moves.
Yeah.
Does that make sense?
Yep.
So that's my number 3. Chris
Nice.
McCracken?
My number 3 for game of the year is
Yes.
is Spider-Man.
Ooh.
Oh, yeah.
Nice.
I mean, we all played it. Well,
Tim didn't play it.
no, that's right. God, I could have sworn that you were. Man,
No, I will
you
be-
need to play
I
Spider-Man.
will be picking it up, yes.
because this is easily, I think, my favorite of the superhero games
Yeah.
probably ever.
Nice.
I really, really like this game. Now, I did not dabble so much with a lot of the other Spider-Man games. I played with a couple of them. I didn't play probably one of the biggest ones, Amazing Spider-Man 2. I think that's one of the ones that's lauded as the best before this one, at least
Yeah,
in
that
terms of
was
the way
really
that
good.
it feels to swing around the city, not necessarily the rest of the game.
Yeah.
But from the minute that you are in there, you're looking around his apartment, Peter Parker's apartment, and then you jump out and it just puts you right in the swinging in the world. It's like, oh, okay, let's
Yep.
go.
Yeah.
And it just was nonstop the whole way. I loved every single bit of it. Again, another game that I platinumed, and I thought it was going to be one of those things where like, oh, these side things are going to get a little bit tedious. Didn't get tedious at all for me. I enjoyed
No,
all
man.
of them. Even the ones that I found super challenging, it was just one of those things like, I'm just going to keep at this, and then you'd get it, the hang of it, and you just feel so strong, so powerful. I loved all the back and forth with him and Yuri and Mary Jane and all the other different people that you would deal with, and the conversations, and then J. Jonah Jameson listening
Oh
to
my
his stuff on the
gosh.
radio.
Oh, his podcast.
I was constantly entertained in the game. I don't feel like
Yeah.
there was at any point where I felt like this is grindy or I'm not enjoying myself with this part like that. And the story, surprisingly enough, the story was really, really good. Because it was one of those things where this could have totally been like just a back burner thing. We're like, oh yeah, we need to write some story that has a beginning, middle, and end. And I
Yes.
don't feel like they did
Yeah.
that at all. I feel like they actually took some time and did some care into it and made it a really, really well done story.
Yes.
And I really enjoyed it. I love how it's set up perfectly for hopefully another, a sequel if they decide to go that route and continue on, which I'm really feeling like it's probably going to be the case. And I can't wait to jump into whatever the next Spider-Man's going to be.
I know. It's one of those things that
Nice.
bums me out because I'm like, oh, I got to wait 4 years for another, like the
Yeah.
second one of this. I got to
Right.
buy a PS5 before I get to play Spider-Man again. Which hopefully, and I don't know if they do this, but that first meld, those first 2 years, it seems like they release games on both consoles.
Yeah.
Which kind of hinders the new console, but gives the people on the old console, something to play, something new to
Yeah.
play.
Right.
So
I
I'm
feel like
hoping
they'll do
that
that
one
again.
comes to
Yeah.
PS5 and PS4. Yeah.
Yeah.
Nice. I love it. Travis Pospisil, 5, Destiny Forsaken.
Ooh.
Yeah.
4, Halo 5.
Okay.
3, God of War. 2, Destiny Forsaken.
Uh-oh.
1, Destiny Forsaken.
That's hilarious.
He said, that's all I've played this year. I'm a Destiny holic and probably should seek professional help. I love that.
Sounds like it.
Yes. Joey McPherson, as I haven't played a lot, life gets in the way. Here's my top 3. 3, Red Dead Redemption 2. 2, Spider-Man, again, PS4. 1, God of War. God of War gave me a similar feeling and experience that The Last of Us gave me, and The Last of Us is my favorite game ever, or tied for first. Oh, he says tied for first with Red Dead Redemption 2. So maybe because he did it, he said 1, 2, 3, God of War, Spider-Man, Red Dead, but maybe he meant 3, 2, 1.
Oh, okay.
Spider-Man is one of the most fun games I've played in a very, very long time. Haven't had that much fun probably since GTA San Andreas. And Red Dead Redemption 2 is a fantastic game. Not as good as Red Dead Redemption, but it's up there. The story is great, the graphics are amazing, and the game is polished as it should be. All three of these games are Game of the Year for me in different ways. Nick Schaefer, Spider-Man, hands down. It's the first game in years that I've actually completed the main story. It didn't feel like a slog at all, and I could have spent countless hours just web slinging around the city doing the things a spider can.
There you go.
Matthew Serta, I don't know what order these are in, so I'm going to just guess. 5, Destiny 2.
There's a
4, Assassin's Creed Origins. 3, World of Warcraft Battle for Azeroth. Number 2, World of Warcraft Legion. And number 1, Red Dead Redemption 2.
Nice.
Tim Paulin, 3, God of War. 2, Forza Horizon 4. 1, Spider-Man. I love seeing these lists go back and forth.
Yes.
Because number 1, it shows the power of Spider-Man and God of War, but also it is showing love across the board and just showing again how much amazing games there were this year. He said He said there's no wrong answer. 2018 was amazing.
Yep.
Nice. All right, we're getting into it, you guys. Number 2, Tim Router.
Assassin's Creed Odyssey.
There you go.
Playing the mess out of that game now. Now, I am not done with it yet, but
Wow.
I wake up and I am like, I've got to keep playing.
I thought that would be your number 1. I can't wait to hear what it is.
Yeah, no, I think the reason why it's not is maybe because it's such a huge questathon and there's so many quests, and I think for the average person, it may get like, all right, let's just move along here after a while. But for me, I'm a huge XP fanatic. So like, I'll go and do anything because I want XP. And like, even the smallest little,
hey man,
like, there was
you got any of that XP back there?
Yeah, right. Hey man, can I get some of that XP? Hey. So I, like, for example, there's a couple that I've run into where a side quest is you run over here and then you basically give somebody money and you get like 10,000 XP for it. I'm like, well, all right, I'll take that because I need the XP to keep leveling up.
Yeah.
But it's like, are those really necessary? I'm finding that some of these are very unnecessary and they're just thrown in there just to throw them in there.
Right.
This game is massive, but I love it. It's part of the Assassin's Creed series. I love the fighting. I think for me it's still challenging, but it's great. I still love this new combat format that they've put together. So and it's just, this whole week is going to be Odyssey. I don't even know how far along I'm into this story, but I need to check my hours, but I'm almost pushing 100 hours into this game.
Wow.
I've got to be at this point, but we'll see. I'll double check. I didn't get a chance to check before the podcast, but yeah, so that's going to be number 2 for me, just because it is so massive and it is such a questathon. I think for some people, and still that Spartan Athenian thing is the fact that you're just a mercenary and will kill whoever and wherever, and there's no loyalty anywhere. That was the one thing that's still kind of freaking me out.
I love that bothers
it bugs me. Yeah, it does bug me because in this, like, it's just different because based on your character, you are Spartan, but then you could go ahead and fight with the Athenians to take over an area, and like you're killing your fellow Spartans. It's just I don't know. It seems that's the one thing that seems a little off. So there you go.
I got you, Edward. Number 2, baby.
Number 2 for me is Detroit Become Human.
What?
And it was my number 1 for the longest time.
Wow.
Yeah, and I
gotta play that game.
I didn't think anything would beat it, and just the fact that it's so huge, the writing is so well done, and not just that they wrote a great story. They had to write a bunch of great stories, and
That's right.
some of the scenes I still haven't seen yet, and I've replayed it over and over again to try to unlock everything, and it's just amazing the scope of this game, and yet somehow they've still managed to tie it all together. And I just love that characters can die off at any time, and there are entire chapters you can miss because of it. I just loved it. The animation was amazing. The acting was really well done, and definite. Man, for the most part of the year, it was my number one game of the year. I didn't know what was going to overthrow it, but man, Detroit was so much fun. So well done.
That is awesome. My number 2 is God of War.
Ooh.
Okay.
It was one of those games where, and it would have been number 1, but for some reason, I plowed through it. I don't remember why. I don't know if it's just because I don't mind doing side missions and stuff like that. I can get caught in that trap just as easy as anybody else. But this game, for me, for some reason, didn't lend to that. I loved keeping that story going. And the fact that I could keep the story going, the fact that you didn't have to kind of like level up to continue. And the way the story just by itself laid itself out was like you kind of leveled up and things happened to where you could progress just naturally.
Yes.
And so I felt like that was something I loved about the game. It's like, oh, I don't have to go do 7 or 8 hours of side stuff to build up my character to be able to move on.
Right.
It seemed like the side stuff lent itself to that. So what I mean by that is that some of that stuff was hard, and so you could go do things to get things to make the other side stuff not as hard. But the main story, I feel like you didn't have to, as long as you had the dexterity down, you could get it taken care of.
Right.
And I really loved that game. And like everybody's saying, the voice acting, the animation, the heart behind it, the, going and getting weapons of old and things like that.
Yes.
It was just, everything about it was just so good. The kid was good. He wasn't annoying. They did just like they did with Ellie and with Naughty Dog. He stayed out of the way, but he was a help. You could use him, but it wasn't like he was going to blow your cover, just all kind of stuff. I just thought it was a brilliant game. And it almost bumped itself back up to number 1 just from watching Corey win at the Video Game Awards and the things he had to say. I was like, I like that guy. And so, I already followed him on Twitter and liked him, but it was fun to see him discuss things there.
Yes.
Chris McCracken.
My number 2, with Router, Assassin's Creed Odyssey.
Nice.
Wow.
That is, so I had mentioned earlier how I jumped in at Assassin's Creed 4 Black Flag and was like, oh my gosh, I really love this game. And I do. I have really good memories of that game, and I really enjoyed playing it. This has easily jumped to my favorite Assassin's Creed game. I love the world. I loved Cassandra as a character. I love the combat. There's I'm sure if I sit there and think about it, there's some things that I could be like, oh, I didn't really care for this, I didn't care for that. And I know not every single aspect of the game is 100% perfect. I know that. Like, for instance, there are a lot of times where you see a cutscene and they need to fix their mouths. But when you look at it as an entire package, that game has almost everything that I would want in a open world game where you have a cool, epic story and you're going to go and just do all this fun side stuff. I had in the very early on when I realized that, oh wait, yeah, you're just whoever owns the area at that point in time versus the Athenians or the Spartans. You're just going to help whoever it is. It did seem a little strange to me as well, where it's like, but you are a Spartan, yet you're over here helping. It's like, well, but at the end of the day, she's a mercenary. I guess it doesn't really matter. And then that was kind of the last I ever thought about it. It wasn't a big hang up for me like it is for Tim, but it was something as well that I was like, oh, okay, that's kind of a little bit weird the first time you run into it and realize what the heck's going on. But I loved everything else. There's no other game this year, open world game this year, that I was like, I am going to go and do absolutely everything.
Wow.
And I didn't even do that in Far Cry 5, which I really, really like. There was stuff in Far Cry 5 I was like, I am not doing this. There wasn't a single thing that I came into in Assassin's Creed that I didn't want to do. It may have been something that I wasn't at a spot in my level that I could do it, but I would just come back and do it later on when I was ready to do it. And I'm probably going to use some of this gift card money to buy the season pass or whatever, because I want to jump back in. I want to jump back into that one and the Spider-Man. I haven't played any of the Spider-Man DLC because I was trying to finish out some of the other things and to give Red Dead its proper due. So those are the things that I'm the most excited about when we get back in town, to be jumping back into Assassin's Creed Odyssey and jumping back into the DLC for Spider-Man.
Nice.
But I really love this game. I think it's a beautiful game. I think it's the prettiest game that I've played of all the AC games. I've not played every single one, but of all of them, I think it's the best looking one. I've said over and over, and I've said on here before, that I thought it looked better than Red Dead Redemption 2. I'm going to hold to that. I still think it looks better than Red Dead Redemption 2 as an overall package when you're just looking at it. Maybe not in all the fine, minute details. But I just love that game and cannot wait to get back in and hack and slash some more people.
Nice.
I feel like your comparison between those two games is almost the difference between HDR 10 and Dolby Vision HDR. You know what I'm saying? Like when people look at those two things, I don't know if anybody's done a deep dive, but I'm in the market for a television, so I've been looking up all these things. And it's so interesting to see how picture is handled so differently in those two different aspects. With HDR10 being amazing and being kind of the standard that everybody's using, and then how Dolby's taken that to the next level. And it's not necessarily better overall, but there's just minute details. I remember I watched one YouTube video where they were showing different clips of this movie, and they were like, you see here how the background is blue and it looks amazing as this horse rides across this field. They're like, and then you go over to Dolby Vision and you're like, you see how amazing this looks, but you can see that the sun is coming up, where in the other one, you can't see that the sun is coming up. You see in this thing where they're on a checkered floor where it's black and white and there are these people kneeling and you see all the details in HDR10. And then over on Dolby Vision, you actually see the dirt on the floor. But it doesn't necessarily look better. It's just more detail and in the stuff. And so I just love how that can still be up for interpretation as far as what someone likes, what appeals to certain people. Where some people, I think, like you're saying, Chris, do get caught up in the details, and that's what makes it look better when it might not necessarily look better overall. You know what I mean?
Yeah, a big part of it as well is just art direction, which I know it's a little unfair. It's hard to compare like a cowboy western versus a Greek, Odyssey. It's just different. They're totally different. They're not really apples to apples comparisons, and I get that. It's just, to me, a big part of it is the art direction, because one of the things that, again, when you look at it from the bird's eye view, looking at it all as a big picture kind of thing, is that Odyssey is very vibrant and it pops, and it just, to me, that's very inviting to go into. Whereas Red Dead, even when it's a bright day, and there may be a lot of green, but it's just kind of like, oh, there's more dirt and there's a couple rocks over there, and it's like it's not something I want to spend my time looking at, and so I would check out a bit, even though I was enjoying what I was doing. But all the details, like seeing almost every little muscle flex on the horse as it's riding down, and that kinds of stuff is way super impressive, and I totally get all that stuff. And the way that, like, as Arthur's beard would grow, it would actually flow in the wind as you would see it. Stuff like that is really, really cool. And there's a lot of little details like that Assassin's Creed didn't have quite as many of those little details.
That's right.
But again, just like a big picture, when you're running around in it, when you're not really focusing on all the little things, I just had so much more time better time looking at AC than I did Red Dead.
That totally makes sense. Yeah, totally. Jason Lorette, I'm going to say. 3, Spider-Man 5. 2, Red Dead Redemption 2. Red Dead Redemption 2. Number 1, Spider-Man. Brian Nebel, Road Crew. Same with Serta. For games I've played that came out this year, I'd say Smash Bros, Overcooked 2, Mario Party.
Nice.
And I just got Pokemon Let's Go Eevee, and I'm really looking forward to that. If it's games that came out before 2018, Overwatch and Breath of the Wild were big hitters for me this year.
Nice.
I know that's right. Over on Twitter, we got Holy Headshot at Holy Headshot, Subnautica, and AC Odyssey, although I did play Resident Evil 7 and Hellblade in 2018 and loved them both.
Ah, very nice.
Chules at the Chules, Detroit Become Human, Game of the Year. Ooh. And then following Beat Saber, Spider-Man, God of War, and Darksiders 3.
Ooh.
Jamin Bassett at Jamin Bassett, 5, Yakuza 6, 4, Valkyria. I thought it was Valkyrie. Valkyria Chronicles 4. 3, Astrobot Rescue Mission. 2, Spider-Man. 1, God of War. Too many great games to count. I could easily make a top 30 this year.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Such a good year.
Oh my gosh, yes.
Nathan Thomas at Voiced by Nathan. 5, Assassin's Creed Odyssey. 4, Forza Horizon 4. 3, Smash Brothers Ultimate. 2, Red Dead Redemption 2. 1, Marvel's Spider-Man. Aaron Bonner at Aaron J. Bonner. 5, Spider-Man. 4, Red Dead Redemption 2. 3, Monster Hunter World. 2, Smash Brothers Ultimate. 1, Tetris Effect. Tetris is that good?
Wow.
That's what I hear. I want to get it too, and play it in VR.
I mean,
wow.
it's a Tetris game, but I'm not good at Tetris.
Yeah.
I love
Yes.
how it feels. It's super relaxing. It's a great atmosphere, but at the end of the day, I'm not that good at
Tetris.
Tetris.
Yeah.
That's funny. Let's see. Jay at Main AC17. My game of the year is God of War. Great story and controls. Progression made playing very enjoyable. Red Dead would come in second. Great story. Mildly frustrating controls and UI. Mm-hmm. There you go. All right. We're in the honorable mention section. Router, you got any honorable mentions you got to give a shout out to that didn't quite make the top 5?
What are
Yeah.
your 3?
Yeah, right. No, my honorable mention actually is going to go to the Jackbox Party Pack and my boy Ed. Because every Friday, I look forward to No Work Fridays. Even if I get at least one game in, I love that you do that, man. And I celebrate that every time. That's why I always give you bits every time I get in there.
I appreciate it, man.
Because I know that it takes a good chunk of your day, but everybody just know that we all love it and we all enjoy it. And I love the Jackbox games. I don't even own the Jackbox games yet because I'm not in like I don't play a ton of games.
You don't
with
have
everybody,
that,
right?
yeah.
I don't have
Right.
that. But that's my fix of, man, if I want to play some games with some people, I'm going Friday.
Well, that's awesome.
Fridays during the day, No Work Fridays, and I try and clear my schedule to play at least a few. And I love a lot of these new games that they're rolling out too.
They killed it this time around.
They did a great job of this. And so, man, kudos to you, Ed, and thank you, Jackbox, because it was awesome.
Thanks, man.
That's right. Edward, you got some honorable mentions?
You know what? I hated not being able to put Far Cry 5 on my top 10 list. But it would definitely go up there. I mean, such a good time. And I actually ended up playing the DLC that was the zombies.
Oh, yeah,
that was
the Vietnam one, right?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, the Vietnam one, and then the zombie one.
Something on Mars or something, right?
Yeah, there was a Mars one as well, and then the third one was zombies. And I played that. I knew I'm not good at horde modes, but I played it online with a friend and had a blast doing it. So it was just
Wow.
It was a great game over. I love the characters. I love the story. Everything you guys had said. It was a lot of fun.
There you go. I love that. My honorable mentions, I've got 3 of them. I got to give it, I think it's because of playing with friends too. I'm having so much fun with Call of Duty Black Ops 4.
Nice.
It is so different from World War II. So different. So there's definitely a learning curve there. But playing with my brother yesterday, and then playing with Ryan and Sammy and Dustin, and all of us learning and being frustrated together, and then like watching our KD slowly start ticking back up has been really fun. They've thrown some of the old maps in there, which they usually do, which has been so fun, playing Summit and running around Firing Range and the new Nuke Town and everything like that. Has just been awesome. I also got to give a shout out, like Tim said, to Jackbox Party Pack 5. So much fun. I went out and bought it. Obviously, playing with Ed on Fridays is just so much fun, and doing that mad dash to try to get in the room when he's got 20 people watching on Twitch and try to get in there before somebody else. Exactly. And so I try to pick and choose those games, like, okay, I'll let them play, this one, but I'll try to get in on Mad vs. City.
Right.
And then my third honorable mention's got to go to Golf Story.
Nice.
I do not like that 8-bit, 16-bit look when it comes to games.
Yeah.
And Golf Story had such a great mix of the two when it came to the speech bubbles and the fact that I laughed out loud to speech bubbles.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Is
I remember you
crazy.
talking about that.
Yeah, and it just is a testament to the writing, a testament to the way they did it. You felt like you could really hear the characters saying it, even though you couldn't hear them saying it. And I had a lot of fun in Golf Story, way more fun than I thought I would have. So I got to give it up to the MTTG family for telling me to play Golf Story. That was a really, really great time. Chris
That's awesome.
McCracken?
My honorable mention is going to go to A Way Out.
Yeah.
Oh, wow. Yeah.
Yes, I almost said that one. I'm so glad you said that.
I really enjoyed that game. It
Was
was
it the
the one
company?
when I had messaged these guys. I was like, "Hey, can we do an honorable mention? Because I'm having trouble nailing down my 5." Beat Saber and A Way Out kept going back and forth for number 5 on my list. It was such a unique experience to me. I've not played any other game where the multiplayer, or the co-op, I guess I should say, played in that way, where you could see both sides of the screen simultaneously. The way that the screen was laid out would shift around based on what was going on.
Oh my gosh.
I really enjoyed the story, even though I knew there's going to be some kind of twist and everything. The particular twist that happened didn't go the way that I thought, so it took me by. I was still surprised, even though I knew something was going to be coming. And when it came to the very end of the game, regardless of which way it played out, because there were multiple ways that it could play out, it was surprisingly emotional for me. It really kind of hit me a little bit. I was like, man, I mean, I didn't cry or anything, but I was like, man, that I'm really feeling this moment. The music was really great when it swelled right there at the very end. I really enjoyed it. I don't think it was the prettiest game. It did kind of look a bit like a PS3 game, with a really, really pretty PS3 game.
Yeah.
But I'm assuming to some extent it's because the way that they played the game, where whether it was local or online, both sides could see all that was going on. I'm sure that's technically difficult to do. I bet that they wanted all that to run so smooth that they dumbed down the graphics a bit. But I was fine with it because I still enjoyed the play and I enjoyed the story so much. The shooting wasn't that great either, but then again, there wasn't a ton of it, so it wasn't that big of a deal.
That's right. Yeah.
And then, we're spoiling things a little bit here because we're talking Game of the Year, but when it got down to that end part right before the very end, when you were now you're playing against the person that you were co-oping with the whole time, I just loved all that element and how that swapped around and just kind of threw me for a loop. And I enjoyed every bit of the experience along the way. And I didn't even do a ton of so you would be going through and you'd see like a Connect 4 game or something. You could go over there and guys could play that, or you and whoever you're playing with could play that against each other. And you could arm wrestle. And I didn't do a ton of that. I played it through with Gabe online anyways. We didn't do a ton of that side stuff, but it was so amazing to me that you could go and do that. You could just stop the narrative and we're going to go here and we're going to arm wrestle, or we're going to play Connect 4. And it makes me want to go back and play it again with somebody else. And I all this time I planned to play it with Stacy. It just hasn't worked out to where we've been able to nail it down, especially now with Beat Saber being there. But I definitely am still planning to do that because I think it's something that she might enjoy playing through. So
I felt like it was surprisingly, and sorry to use this word, but I feel like it was surprisingly intimate. If that makes any sense whatsoever.
I agree.
But like when it was, I remember when me and Chris kind of talked about playing it, I was like, shoot, man, I got 3 kids and I'm going to be a bummer for him because he's going to want to get through it quick and I'm going to have to blah, 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 blah. And I just remember those messages going back and forth like, hey, man, you want to play A Way Out tonight? And I think we did it in only like 2 or 3 sittings, right, Chris?
Yeah, it wasn't very long.
And so, and so the fact that he'd be like, hey, you want to play A Way Out? And I was like, yeah. And then it was like, it's just me and Chris. And it's like, just 2 buddies playing a video game. That's kind of how I came up. Like, I didn't come up always playing with 5 or 6 guys, kind of like we do now, where it's like, you get a Destiny raid going on, or you get on Overwatch, you're playing with 5 of your buddies, and so like that. It was just me and Chris, and like we made it through A Way Out, and it was really, really cool. I really enjoyed playing that one.
Yep.
That's great. I'm so glad you said that. All right, I'm gonna throw you guys for a little bit of a loop.
Okay.
I didn't tell you guys to get this ready, but like, do you have a game that just didn't do it in 2018, and you were kind of maybe looking forward to it or not looking forward to it, or maybe just stumbled into it? Maybe it was a free to play game, maybe it was a PS Plus game, or an Xbox, games with gold game. Anybody got Tim, do you have a?
Yeah, the Shadow of the Tomb Raider. Because I got it, being very excited. I started playing it. I'm like, okay, all right. And then at some point, something happened. I'm like, yeah, I need to switch and play Odyssey now. So
This is not working out.
Yeah, and I mean it's
not me, it's you.
no. The weird thing is the controls. It's very similar to the previous one. Like I love her character. I think she's a good voice actor. Like it's good, but I don't know. There was just something about it. I'm like, yeah, cool. All right, back to AC Odyssey we go. You know, it's
That's
like
right.
So will I finish it? I don't know. I hate not playing.
Probably
a game,
not, is
especially
your
yeah. But
answer.
probably not now. I mean, I don't know. I've got Spider-Man to play, so.
Exactly.
So, but yeah, I think Shadow of the Tomb Raider is what did it for me this year.
Yeah.
Edward?
For me, the answer lies somewhere between Shadow of the Tomb Raider and AC Odyssey.
Really?
Really?
Wow. Not Borderlands 2 in VR.
That's also on the list, I guess. Yeah.
That's hilarious.
Forgot about that. It went by so
exactly.
quickly.
That's right. Time goes by so fast.
Mine has got to be Shaq Fu.
Oh, nice. Well, you set yourself up for that one.
Yeah, did you think it was going to be good?
I didn't think it was going to be the worst game of 2018 that I played.
Yeah.
But I didn't think it was going to be great. And I just did not have fun in that game at all.
And yet you finished it, so kudos.
I did finish it only because I heard it wasn't that long and I was working towards my resolution because I knew once we got later in the year, I wasn't going to be able to pump out, any games that came out in the fall.
Yeah.
And so I was working towards that. I think my number was 7. I wanted to beat 7 games this year. And I beat Shaq Fu. And the only saving grace in that game is that it's voiced by Shaq. And so hearing him talk is just funny.
Yeah.
And as a guy who watches the NBA and hears him as a commentator a lot, it was just, oh gosh, that game was just bad. And I know people loved it. There was some people in our community that were like, what are you talking about? That game was really fun. Great. I'm glad you
Good
had
for
fun
you,
with it.
right?
I did not like that game. Oh man. Chris McCracken, you got one?
So is the Criteria a game that we were looking forward to, but then just didn't pan out for us?
No. It's just a game in 2018 that you were, no, because I was not looking forward to Shaq Fu. I was just
yeah,
going to
I
try
guess
it.
that's true.
Just a game that you were like, no, I don't like this.
I mean, the only one that I can really honestly say is Red Dead 2.
Yeah.
But I feel like I went in knowing like
I love it.
There's a shot that this game is not going to be for me. So in that instant, in the terms of like, I wasn't going into it like, oh man, this is going to be the best ever. I had some hesitation going in. Mm-hmm. But honestly, though, the things that I thought I was not going to like about the game didn't end up being as big of a sticking point to me as I thought they would be. Like I really thought like, oh, I'm going to have to eat and I'm going to have to sleep and I'm going to have to go bathe. It's like, why are you putting this in a game? I don't want to do any of that stuff. And those things really didn't impede the gameplay very much. It was the actual gameplay I didn't care for that much.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
the overall just slowness of it just didn't really work for me. And I still may jump back in and just see, because I had just gotten to chapter 3 when I kind of walked away from it. I've thought a few times like I should delete this and make some space on my hard drive because it's like 100 gigs and I haven't done it yet. So if the fact that I haven't done it yet means there's a chance I could jump back in and just explore a little bit more and see what's going to happen. But
Yes.
I don't want to do any more of the just roaming around stuff. It's like I just want to focus on the story, and if the story doesn't grab me quick, I want to get out. And I'll probably just
there you go.
bounce. Yeah.
I love that 2 of ours are other people's games of the year.
I know, right?
I love that.
It's
That's so
it's
great.
so weird.
I'm serious. I really like that. Like
Yeah.
it just shows diversity in our family and
Yeah, definitely.
and in the games this year. LM Rowe at LM1213 Game of the Year, Spider-Man. Most fun I've had in gaming in a long time. Bird Fly Bear Don't
That's amazing.
at Bird Fly Beard. 5 Dead Cells. 4 Fist of the North Star.
Oh.
Wow. 3 Octopath Traveler. Gosh, I got to play that. 2 Dynasty Warriors 9 and 1 Vampire.
Ooh.
Nice. See, this is the problem.
Okay.
I want to take my Switch on the road, but Remy is loving the Switch right now.
Really?
You got to
So I
buy
don't
him his
know-
own Switch.
I don't know what I'm going to do. Yeah, it's probably going to be that. That's why I told Jenny. She was like, no, he doesn't need his own. I was like, I know, but like you like to play Dr. Mario while I'm gone. And he, so I'm going to plug up the regular Nintendo, the classic, while I'm gone this week
Oh,
and
yeah.
see how that holds people over. J Marsh at Squealy D, hands down Red Dead 2. No question. I've never played anything like it. I'm overwhelmed with the detail and love that was put into this game. I've enjoyed myself for the entire 90 hours that I've played, and it saddens me to think about it ending.
Mm-hmm.
Tony at M1 Rez, 5 Spider-Man, 4 Call of Duty Black Ops 4, 3 Fortnite, 2 God of War, 1 Red Dead Redemption 2.
Look at that.
Jeremy at Jeror45, only played a few, but God of War has to be the numero uno. Runners up to our Dead Cells, Monster Hunter World, and as always, Diablo 3. I like that. El Super at C and Watley. That was what I'm guessing. Wait, why is Undertale so good? I'm stuck at that galaxy cave-ish. There you go. Why is Undertale so good? I don't know. I've not played it, but I'm glad it's good. The last one from the family online, the Couch Co-op Show at Couch Co-op Shows. 5 Soul Calibur 6.
Ooh.
4 Spider-Man. 3 God of War. 2 Monster Hunter World. 1 AC Odyssey.
There you go.
Thank you guys so much for showing up. I knew when I put the question out on Christmas Eve, it was sketchy whether or not people were going to answer. So thank you guys for being so attentive and answering that. I love reading all those. It's a great trip down memory lane. Fellas, we have arrived.
Yes.
Yes, we have.
Our games of the year. For you, Tim Router, the number one game of the year of 2018 is...
God of War.
Oh, yes.
Absolutely. This game completely reminded me, and I had the same kind of feeling as I did when I played The Last of Us.
Yeah.
I loved everything about it. I platinumed this game. I loved the voice acting. I felt it had a great flow. The story is just incredible. And I had never played God of War, any of this other games before.
Yeah.
I think this reboot just did it for me. I'm not going to go back and play those games, but if there are more games like this that are going to happen, I don't know if they're going to continue this or not, but I want them to. But I love this, and I think it's going to be great. And this makes me really look forward to The Last of Us 2, which is coming out next week. So
there you go.
To me, this was just the most complete game. It paced you well, and it wasn't a huge questathon, and I felt it was still fairly big, but I think it was a really good pace, and I really enjoyed it. And the combat was challenging at first, but it kind of forced you to just kind of tweak things a little bit, and just it was great. And I thoroughly enjoyed it. And that axe, boy, that axe is so much fun. I miss that axe.
Yeah, brother. There you go. All right. Well, I think we know where this is going if you've been paying attention.
Yep.
Edward,
Yes, sir.
what's your number one, baby?
I'm going with Spider-Man.
Yay.
PS4 Spider-Man?
What's that?
PS4.
PS4 Spider-Man?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Spider-Man PS4.
Yes.
Okay, good.
Oh, okay.
I mean, from like Chris mentioned, from the minute you first take that first swing, it was like you were Spider-Man.
Yep.
I wasn't playing the character Spider-Man. I wasn't controlling Spider-Man. I was Spider-Man, and it felt so
true.
good.
So true.
The story was so
Get on that,
much
Superman.
exactly. Take a note.
Yeah. Feel like Superman when you come out, would you?
Exactly. The story was so good. I thought I knew where it was going to go. I didn't. I didn't think it was going to go some places, and it did. And it was everything I could have wanted. I went in with pretty low expectations, and it blew them away. And I was loving every minute of it. The DLC was just gravy and icing on the cake. And man, it was just so much fun. And everybody knows that. I mean, you've heard us talk about it. You heard our spoiler cast. So yeah, it was a lot of fun.
I love that. I'm right there with you, Ed.
Yeah.
Spider-Man number one. I went back and so much
Nice.
between this and God of War. I was like, God of War's number one. No, Spider-Man's number one. No, God of War's number one. And they both could be number one for two completely different reasons.
Yeah.
Yep.
We talked about it when God of War came out, the father-son thing and me having sons.
Yes.
I'm telling every dad of sons I know to play God of War that play video games. I'm like, you've got to play God of War. You have to.
Yeah.
You just got to. Just because it's so good. But then there's Spider-Man. And the thing that I loved about Spider-Man so much is that you just don't stop smiling.
Yeah.
It doesn't feel like a grind. Getting from place to place is the first guy. I talked about it before. It's the first game I've played that I didn't want to fast travel. I only fast traveled because it was a trophy I had to get to platinum the game. And I platinumed it. I had fun platinuming it, even though it was a grind for me at the end to platinum because it was just like the little things I had to go do. But I was like, I'll go do that. No problem.
Yeah.
And I'd never changed the outfit unless they made me. I love the outfit they made for the game.
Yeah,
it
it's
felt
great.
right. It felt like an outfit that had been around for years. It felt familiar.
Yeah, really did.
Yep.
The voice acting is good. The story is good. Like Ed was saying, I didn't think they'd go some places, and they did. The fact that you could go visit Ben's grave and just all the little things they put in there.
Yeah.
New York felt amazing. And
Yes.
I was having a love affair with New York anyway, from just having been there and walked around a bunch and by myself and just falling back in love with that city. And it just felt so right. Everything about it felt right. Of course, there's a bunch of button combinations. If I went back and played it today, or when I go back and play the DLC, I will be on the struggle bus. But
I will too.
I just loved that game so much. I thought it was so much fun. I was so sad that it was over.
Yeah.
And I'm glad that it doesn't have to be over with the DLCs that are out. So I got to give my game of the year 2018 to Spider-Man.
Nice.
And that's part of what I really love about that, you guys both giving it Game of the Year, is because since it didn't get any awards at the Game Awards, which I feel like is
know.
just one of those crazy things where it's like,
Yeah.
man, it's like, it just released in a year with just so many really good stuff. And I'm just like, I wanted it to get something so bad. So that's awesome that you guys are both putting it as Game of the Year.
Yeah, and
Yes.
it's funny because even though God of War was number 5 on my list, it has my favorite gaming moment of the year,
Yes, sir.
which is when he meets Baldur, and you have that,
Yeah.
that
Oh,
insane
man.
battle.
So
yeah,
good.
it's the first one.
Yes,
That's
I
so
was.
good.
I couldn't believe it. It was so much fun, and
You're
that's
like,
what
this
a good
game
year.
starts with a boss fight?
I know, exactly. And that's what a good year it was, man, is that a game with that moment that I love so much as number 5. That's just, I love that. I love that it was that good of a year.
I mean, and the depth of the like the secrets that are, oh my gosh. For
Yeah.
people that are parents, especially for people that are parents that have had like a past that they're not super proud of, it hit all those notes so well. It was like a tuning fork. Boing. It's like perfect. You know what I mean?
That's
Nice.
awesome.
Oh, nailed it. Chris McCracken, lay it on us, your game of the year for 2018.
Well, my friends, we are house divided because I am going God of War.
Yeah.
I know that's right, baby.
Right?
We're not that divided. I'm not mad at that at all.
Yeah,
No.
yeah. I mentioned it, I believe, on the show back around the time when we were playing. But for me, I have never played another game that is part of a franchise where in the current iteration they revamped every single aspect of the game, barring one small thing, essentially, besides the character names.
The jump
and
button.
it got
That's
better.
right. Yeah.
Yes.
And it as someone who played the previous games, at least the main line in the series, I didn't play the PSP games and whatnot, 1, 2, and 3. And actually 2 I didn't play all the way through, but I finished out the story with a buddy of mine. I knew the character, I knew the story, and then when this one came through, I was always going to play this new version of God of War, but I was very much like, we'll see. Can they do this? I mean, I understand the need for change, but at the same time, you had a good thing going with the previous one. Why you want to go and flip the script completely? I really did think, even though I'm with you guys, I love The Last of Us. I really was like, this is them just Last of Us-ing God of War. It's like doing it because it went well. So they're just wanting to do this. And
Not
I was
true.
completely wrong. This game was absolutely better than the previous games. Different, but in my opinion, better. And every single step of the journey, every single step of the camera never cutting journey blew
good
my
point.
mind.
Yep.
Yeah.
And as someone who played the previous games, to be surprised by the Blades of Chaos showing back up, and that was the one thing that I mentioned earlier when I was saying that one thing changed, because they still had that in the game.
Yeah.
I mean, it was one of those things where it was like, oh, they're going to show up. And then when they didn't show up, and you're like, oh, okay, cool. And then you fall in love with the axe, and you fall in love with the camera, and you fall in love with that style of combat. And then they do bring them back anyways. And in a way that completely makes sense to the story. Oh my gosh, it just hit me so hard. And I loved every bit of it. When I was done with the game, I could not wait to go back and do any of the side stuff that I had missed, plus beating all of the Valkyries, which the Valkyrie fights
Those are tough.
some of my favorite boss fights type stuff in any game that I've ever played. I really
Really?
enjoyed them. Yeah, I thought they were so much fun. They were challenging, but not so much that I couldn't do them, kind of thing. And I'm sure if they were too hard for me to do, maybe I'd feel different. But when I beat it, it felt so rewarding to beat those characters.
Yeah, they were
Or
tough.
to beat those Valkyries every single time. And then the little story elements tied into that part as well. There is no other game that I've ever or played where they also have like a novelization of it, and I want to read the novelization. I think I'm going to get the novelization of this game.
Wow.
And not only that, I'm going to get the audiobook version, because it is voiced by the same guy who voiced Mimir, which happens to be my favorite NPC character in any game ever now.
Yeah, of all time.
Absolute favorite.
He is good.
And I love this game so much that it went all the way up to my number 2 of all time. And honestly speaking,
Wow.
if it were
Wow,
not
that's great.
for just my nostalgia, time of life, love for Metal Gear, it probably could have moved up to number 1.
That's great.
Woo-wee.
That
I love that.
nostalgia is a hard thing to kick. You know, it's a
Yeah,
hard
yeah, of
thing to
course.
overcome. So
Yeah.
Metal Gear's still there, but it could be like a 1A and a 1B possibly. You know.
Wow.
That's
I loved
awesome.
this game so much. I will play it again, probably after I finish the DLC stuff for Spider-Man, and then if I jump into the AC stuff whenever I get finished with all that. If there's not another game that comes out early on in the year before I can get to it that I'm wanting to jump into right away, I will play this game again. And regardless, somewhere down the road, I will definitely be playing this game again, probably
Yeah.
a couple of times. I can't wait for New Game Plus to see the new challenges while keeping my gear and still getting all the gear that I didn't get. I'm super looking forward to going and chasing after that stuff. I
Yeah,
just
man.
loved every bit of this game, and I was so happy that it won Game of the Year and that Corey got director at the Game Awards, because I think a lot of people were leaning that it wasn't going to happen, and I was like, man, it's just
Yeah.
Corey just did such a good job with that. The no cut thing, just, I'm sorry, I know I keep going back to this, but that just blows my mind that was an idea he
Agreed.
had and it worked. It didn't feel like a gimmick, and it's one of those things that it's so subtle that you almost don't even notice it until when you do, you're like, oh my gosh, this is ridiculously impressive. I can't
Yeah.
imagine trying to direct a game that has that element to it. I couldn't
Right.
have kept it straight. So I was just super, super impressed with that. And the game as a whole, I absolutely loved it.
That's
awesome,
awesome.
man.
Yep.
Game of the year is 2018. I want to do a quick thing before we get out of here. We didn't do a question of the week because I was thinking in my head like, oh, let's keep this episode short because everybody's got to get back to family. And here we are, an hour and 50 minutes into the show.
Usual.
And but looking back on this year, you guys have any like memories that are sticking out to you as far as Married to the Games and our family? Obviously, we had episode 300 this year. That's at the top of my list. But there was just a couple things that I just wanted to mention. Me and Ed both did the hot sauce challenge this year
Yes.
Yeah, you did.
with freaking Stancil.
Stancil.
And that was amazing, an amazing memory for me this year. And then for me, having Troy Baker on the show and being able to interview him and bring him on was a huge deal. So thank you, Troy, for being on the show. Obviously, you don't listen, but thank you for being on the show. And thank you to Alto's Adventure for just being a game on my phone that I just loved to play this year. I don't play it anymore, but I loved it when I was playing it. Anybody else got any memories? Tim, you got any memories of this year?
Yeah, I really 300 was amazing.
Yes.
And I really enjoyed it. It seemed like just having us all together, watching the press conferences. It was a really good time. So I have great memories of that. Obviously, it's Overwatch for me, man. Like as soon as I jumped in, everybody was like, "Holy cow, Router's in!" And they all rallied to me, giving me tips and pointers, and like they just took me in, and that's exactly what this is all about, and this is like the only multiplayer game that I play, and it's for that reason, because everybo's like, oh, as soon as somebody pops on Overwatch, there's usually somebody there to be like, hey, let's go.
Yeah.
And
right.
It is just so much fun, and I absolutely loved it, and so it makes me just appreciate our community so much more. And I will say, over this past year, we've gotten several emails from listeners, and a lot of them I don't read on the show because they're sharing their hearts and they're sharing what they're feeling to us, and I always pass it along to the guys. And there have been some pretty amazing emails and some pretty incredible stories of how a simple little podcast with four knuckleheads can really like help somebody, affect somebody. I love reading those, and it just makes me appreciate this. We just continue to do what we do, and we do good, and we treat others respectfully, and we treat everybody as the way we'd want to be treated. And I love that. That's probably one of my favorite things about all of this.
There you go. Ed, you got any memories of 2018?
Yeah, I think, the inaugural Overwatch League season, and just
London Spitfire.
Yeah. And just, like the rivalries between, the different members of the community that had a team, going with Jared and Kaboski, who were rooting for the Fusion, and Chris with the Fuel, and everything that went along with it. We had our Florida Mayhem fans, and just having that, a sport to be rooting with and against, and talking about the games and discussing afterwards. And then I think just, the Discord and watching our community grow and getting to know the community more. And, really it's not a fan listener type relationship. It's friend and friends,
That's right.
And it's just been so cool to make and meet so many new friends this year. I've really cherished that.
Yeah, and your Twitch thing on and popping, and getting affiliated with Twitch.
It's been amazing, dude.
Such an amazing thing. Chris McCracken.
So I'm gonna kind of echo a few of the sentiments that you guys have. 300 was just, all the Centennial ones have been great, but they just get better every time. What I love is just being able to meet up with people in person and hang out in person, getting to hang out with Drew on the way down there. I mean, with Bad Gamer, Kaboski, Jared, Will, like everybody that was there. There were so many people, too many to name. I love it because nobody just randomly stumbles through Dallas, or very infrequently. So that's my area. They can be able to do that, and I'm not on the tour scene, so I'm not going out and get to do the ambassador thing very super often. So I just really love being able to meet up and have real life one-to-one hang time with these people. That breakfast that we had at the Frothy Monkey it was just amazing. Be able to bounce on the tables and chat with everybody.
That
so
was
much
insane.
Fun. So much fun. And then on top of that, I also have to reiterate with Overwatch, it's like the gift that just keeps on giving. Not only the Overwatch League, like Ed had mentioned, but also it just seems like every year somebody new is like, okay, I'm going to give this Overwatch thing a try. And then now you've got this other person to play with. And it just gets bigger and bigger each year. And it's awesome when it's the situation like it was with Tim, where we say, oh, you got to do this because we talk so highly of it all the time. And then a person's on the fence. And then when they jump in, they're like, wow. I mean, it's good to hear that they love it too, kind of thing. And that it's not just us, being fanboys. It's actually a really good game and a great time to hang out with people.
Yeah.
I loved all that stuff. The community on Patreon has grown, and it's been great. I love the fact that it's just, I can pop in there anytime that I want, and people are talking about games, they're talking about music, they're talking about real life, they're talking about tech stuff, and it's all just Great. It's exactly what you would expect from our community. They're respectful conversations, and they're having fun, and they're being nice to each other, and there's not all this garbage that you see other places. I just really love that. That's always an awesome place. Every time I hit that Discord button on my phone, I know I'm going to see something that I'm going to give me a smile somewhere in there. It's going to happen.
Yep.
So true.
Exactly.
That's really awesome. And honestly, like on our Twitter account, it's very similar too. Like when I'm looking at those at replies or people chatting with us, I don't ever have to worry about it being something weird or somewhere I'm going to like, yeesh, I can't believe that came across.
Right,
kind of thing.
right.
It's always a great thing wherever we are.
And the Facebook group.
Yeah, I was going to say, same thing with our Facebook group. Pretty much anywhere where we have community members chatting and talking, it's going to be a delightful place to be.
Yep.
And so I really like it.
I got to give 2 shout outs real quick. I think we had a baby born and a baby on the way this last week.
Oh, that's right. Yes.
Kevin Miller Jr. on the 20th after 32 hours of labor.
Oh, snap.
They had their daughter. And then Travis Reeves says, I think my gaming time might take a hit this coming year.
Yep.
And he has a shirt that he put on there that says, leveling up to daddy.
Nice.
So congrats to you guys. That's amazing. And that's what Chris is talking about. Like, you know, I went to Facebook just to look at the answers for the question of the week.
Yep.
And I stumbled upon baby news, and I'm like, oh my gosh.
Yep.
This is incredible. So,
and something that just kind of reiterates the whole maturity level and everything of our community. And I know it's kind of the way that we've built it, but the thing about it is we have all these different places where we can chat and interact and everything, but at the same time, we're kids and wives and 9-to-5s. So there may be like a week where, man, I can't check in very much at all.
That's
it's
right.
not people
Yeah.
they're all upset like, oh, Chris hasn't been here in forever kind of thing. It's just they're just continuing to go on because everybody's in the same boat. It's like you come and go as you will, and every time that you're there, you're going to have a good time. I really, really dig that.
That's for sure.
yeah, that's awesome. Yes, 2018 has been a good year. 2019 is going to have so much more to offer when it comes to gaming. And so that leads to our question of the week for you guys is what game or games, because I don't want to limit it to one, are you most looking forward to in 2019? Chris, you got an answer?
Of the ones that I know for sure are coming in 2019, I think my answer right now has to be Anthem. I'm very curious about
Ooh,
Anthem.
nice.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Edward?
Do we know? Do we have like a year for Ghosts of Sushi or whatever it's called?
I don't think we've been given a year yet. Have we?
Ghosts of Sushi. Oh, my
Ghosts of
I'm just
Sushi.
gonna say February then.
yeah, he's just looking forward to February, which is nice because it's not a long way off.
No, it's
Yeah.
really not.
It's not.
Router,
Last of Us 2, clearly.
yeah. Is that coming out this year?
Do we know for sure?
They haven't announced a year for that one either.
Yeah.
I don't know, but I don't know. That's the thing. Like this year for me is wide open. I have no idea what I'm going to be playing next. I really
Well,
don't.
that new Far Cry is coming out. They said 2019.
That's true. It
Oh,
is.
there
Oh,
you
that's
go.
right. Yeah.
I
That
think
thing's
it's
coming out quick.
It's not February, is it?
No, I think it's in the fall.
Yeah, I hope
think.
not.
Okay, I know. I was going to say. Yeah. So yeah, I mean, if I can get a Far Cry in this year, that'd be awesome. But I want a game to just come in and surprise me, something that maybe I'm not used to. But Overwatch is that for me. Like I normally don't play those kind of games, but like I want something like that for this year, definitely.
Yeah.
Yeah.
There you go. I've got 3. Anthem is definitely one of them. I can't wait to play that game. It looks awesome. And then Last of Us, if it comes, I don't know that it'll come out this
Yeah,
year.
if it comes, yeah.
Yeah.
Especially because I get it for free.
I know, right?
That's right.
I'm not making that
That's
mistake
right.
again.
think it's official now.
If it comes.
yeah, exactly. And then Kingdom Hearts 3. I'm really looking forward to coming out. That's coming out at the end of January, so I'm excited to play that with Amara and show her that game.
Oh,
since
that's
it's got
right.
all the Disney characters in it and everything like that. So that'll
Forward
be
to that
fun.
on the channel from Gabe, right?
Well, I don't know if we'll put it on the channel, but at least
1,200
that game
hours.
is so long. Yeah,
I know.
exactly. So excited about that. You guys let us know what game you're most excited about coming in 2019, and we will talk about it next week. And we'll see you guys next week. Will be next year.
Yes.
So
Crazy.
Merry New
that's
Year.
crazy. Yeah, exactly. Merry New Year to everyone. We're going to be gearing up for tour come January. So it's going to be a crazy January for me, but excited to get back with the family and MTTG. It's going to be awesome. Thank you guys so much for sticking with us this year.
Yeah.
It's been a great year with 300 and everything that these guys have mentioned. And onward and upward to 2019, man. We thank you guys so much for being here. We so appreciate you guys. I'm Gabe Patillo. That is Tim Router. That is Ed Placencia. That's Chris McCracken. And for the last time in 2018, we are married to the games and we are up out this thing. Peace!